Oral Roberts' commentary about David and Goliath, Part 2. My third qualification is I will fight. It takes the young to fight, the young in heart, those who are young in spirit and vision. It does not matter if we are young, middle-aged, or old. What matters is how we think, how we believe, and the kind of understanding we have of God. I've seen young people who were old. They had no vision, no purpose, no drive in life. On the other hand, I've seen people 80 years and older who would still fight. I prayed one night in our crusade prayer line for a man who was 92 years old. I said to him, "Sir, do you think you're too old to get healed?" He said, "No, sir. I have faith that God can heal me," and he did. It is wonderful when men and women will use their faith in God when they come up against the thing that comes up against them. The mature soldiers of Israel had refused to fight because they were afraid. The king would not fight. Even he was quaking with fear. Actually, there was no contest. They had all given up because of fear. If the devil has another name, it is fear. Fear is the spirit he imparts to people when they are willing to receive it from his evil hands. Fear is what causes us to throw up our hands and give up without a fight. When cancer or some other dread disease strikes the body, fear tries to make us give up. Or when a job is lost, finances are ruined, fear strikes to take away our hope. But David said, "I have faith, I will fight." The fourth qualifications David advanced was, "King Saul, I've got a secret. I know something about this battle that the giant doesn't know." "What's your secret, David?" "The battle is the Lord's." He answered, "You and your soldiers think it is a battle of man against man. Goliath has not defied you or me. He has defied the armies of the living God. When he defied God, he changed his battle from man against man to man against God. The battle is the Lord's, and if I go in the name of the Lord, I will win." When you have some battle raging, it is important that we remember what the battle is about. If we compare ourselves individually with the foe, we will find we are no match for him. But the battle is not yours or mine. It is God's. Our enemy is not against you or me. He couldn't care less. He is against Christ, the Christ we serve. He is against the salvation in our hearts. He is against the power of the living God in us that comes against his evil ways. God wants us to be saved more than we want to be saved. God wants us to be healed more than we want to be healed. God wants to prosper us more than we want to prosper. The battle is the Lord's. In his name we can conquer. But there is no contest if we do not accept the challenge and meet it with the understanding that the battle is the Lord's. But there is no contest if we do not accept the challenge and meet it with the understanding that the battle is the Lord's. The fifth qualification David gave was the most practical. "I have a point of contact," he said. This part is important. It really is, makes a point. "Give me my sling and a smooth stone. As I throw the stone, I'll send my faith to God. This is my point of contact for the releasing of my faith. As I let my faith go to God, he will guide the stone to the giant's forehead." David teaches us that it is not enough to have faith. We must release it. He did not necessarily have any more faith in God than his brothers or some of the other members of the army of Israel. He simply had the kind of faith he could use, active faith. He released it for action. David had skills in using the sling. He could throw a stone with deadly accuracy. He could hit the forehead of a man probably as far as 50 paces anyway. Anyone who is a good shot can shoot straight if no one pressures him. But David was under pressure. The fate of God's people was at stake. His own faith was challenged. He knew not to trust only, I got lost. He knew not to trust only in himself or his skill. He released his faith to God. With these qualifications, he went forward to meet the giant. King David dared to be himself. King Saul said, God go with you, son." He offered David his armor. When David tried it, he found it unfamiliar and refused it. I must point out how much better it is for a person to be himself, how we need to be ourselves and not to try to mimic anyone else, no matter how great they are. David wanted no unfamiliar weapon. Just give me my sling that I'm accustomed to, he said. Let me be myself. David made his way down the hillside, and the giant saw him coming. Scornfully he said, am I a dog that you send a boy to fight against me? Why, I'll throw you to the birds of the air. Then he began to curse David. David waited until Goliath was through, and he answered him with one of the most dynamic statements in the Bible. Thou comest to me with the sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand. All this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. As the giant drew closer, his shield bearer going before him, David ran boldly with confidence because his trust was in God. David fitted a stone into a sling and began to swing it around his head. No doubt he was saying to himself, when I release this stone, I release my faith in God. With this thought, he slung the stone. At that instant, faith left David's heart. The stone found its mark, and it sank into the giant's forehead and fell to the earth dead. Having no sword of his own, David ran and jumped on big chest of Goliath, pulled the giant's sword out of his sheath, and cut off his head. The battle was over. Israel was delivered. David won the battle, and we still thrill to its glory, but it is no difference from the battle of life that you and I are fighting today. The battle is the same because we are being attacked by the devil. If we have sin in our soul, it will be. If we have fear in our mind, if we have sickness in our body, if we have problems we cannot solve, the devil is striking at us and challenging us to a fight. That battle will be won and can be won by the people of God, those who have an experience with the Lord and are willing to release their faith in his name. He has never lost a battle. God knows exactly how to deliver us. Let us rise up and strike the same blow for deliverance that David did, for the battle is the Lord's. Peace, this is Candy. I hope you got as much out of this as I did. Release your faith into action. Just let it go. When the time's right, take them brakes off and move. That's what I'm trying to do too. Peace, this is Candy. I'm glad you're here.